Welcome back to the Getting Results Inc. podcast. I'm Coach Gino, and alongside is Super Coach, Coach Ken. Coach, how goes it?
As you can see in the markets and in the world in general, we are keeping America safe for capitalism. Capitalism works, people. Join the capitalism bus. It pays off exponentially.
Get on the bus. Yeah, we'll say the market's been, my portfolio is looking pretty darn good lately, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Crazy.
Like it.
What about Bitcoin? Next level.
Very next level. I don't have any, but,
It's just when you're like, damn, wish I would have stocked up on that.
nice for other people.
Yeah,
I gotta talk to my advisor about that. What the heck is he doing? Why aren't I in Bitcoin? Damn it!
Bitcoin and pork bellies, people. Bitcoin and pork bellies.
Here you go.
Just kidding.
That's right. All right, Super Coach. So today we want to talk about really the foundation, or one of the foundations of what we do and how we coach, and to how we really can communicate to people how to set themselves up to win with anything in their lives, really. So we want to talk about community structure and affinity. And to many people, that may not sound like anything you heard of before, and to some, maybe you did. But today we're going to clear it up either way and educate you on it. So, Super Coach, you want to get us started with that?
Beautiful. We have a series of 9 points that if you follow, you can achieve anything that you want in the world. It is a massive probability stack in your favor. And what we're going to play with today are 3 concepts, as Gino said: community, affinity, and structure. So there's an old adage out there, you've probably heard it in some shape or form, that I know I can guess how much money you make. And how I can do that is I say, okay, tell me the 5 people you hang out with the most, you spend the most amount of time with, other than your immediate family. Well, let's figure out what they earn. Let's take the average of that, and voila, that's what you will earn. Now, there's some scary truth to that. You see, every community that you're part of keeps a certain conversation in existence. Now, what's interesting about humans, we have a conscious conversation, like the stuff that people are talking to us about. But then there is a lot of subconscious things going on, like that your mind absorbs much more of the subconscious stuff than the conscious. So when you are around people who are up to stuff, it rubs off on you. So like a fast and silly example of this is one time I had a client, he's like, Ken, I really want to improve my golf game. And I said, awesome. Do you golf regularly? He says, well, no, I really don't have the time. I'm like, well, why is that? He's like, well, on Wednesdays and Saturday, I'm part of a bowling league. And I was like, wow. And you want to improve your golf game, but you're hanging out with a bunch of bowlers. How is that working for you? Obviously, it's not. Because the more that you hang out with bowlers, guess what you talk about in between breaks, in between beers, in between cigarettes, or whatever it is that you're doing? You talk about bowling and how to get the spin on the ball and what the best resin, how you rub your ball, make it nice and shiny. You have a lot of ball talk in bowling for some reason. I don't know, because that's what you do. You
Hopefully it's bowling ball talk.
A lot of big bowling balls being thrown down the lane or whatever. Because once again, that's the conversation that's available in bowling. So one of the fastest ways to get better at golf is to hang out with better golfers. Join a league. Hire a coach. That's an even higher level for you out there, right? You really want to get good at something? You're really committed to something? Hire a coach. Why? Because they can see your backswing. You can't. Okay? Like literally, you have never seen the back of your head. I know some of you right now are jumping up and going to the bathroom and saying, look, I can see the back of my head. No, that's not the back of your head. It's a reflection of the back of your head. So one of those things just to sort of think about. And so we become part of the community that we keep. So one of the huge benefits of what Getting Results does each year, we have something called the peerage. And the peerage is an open invitation to current and past clients to come together to practice fellowship, to learn some new ideas, etc. And it is a very fertile place where you can get the idea, concept, inspiration to truly bring your business to the next level. It's at the end of February. It's in Sarasota, Florida. Sarasota is beautiful that particular time of year. Now, I'm sure some of you out there, current and past clients, going, man, I'd really like to go to the peerage. but I'm going to go skiing in Montana, in Dakota, or wherever you're going to go skiing. Awesome, cute, but ask yourself, what's the probability that you're going to get a groundbreaking idea or be around someone who earns 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 times the amount of you do in financial services? Now, there is a possibility, but the probability of that is relatively low. And once again, this whole idea with the peerage, the reason why we created it was because every week I get to deal with brilliant minds all day long. Brilliant minds who are up to stuff, creating a life and business by design. And what I said, oh my God, my clients, or all of us, can benefit simply by knowing each other. I have shared conversation. Because all of you also realize something. You've all been to boondoggles, div trips, diligence things. And some talking head got up there and yammered about something for hours on end. And maybe you got a quarter of an idea, but then you hung out at the bar, or you're at the coffee shop, or you're at the water cooler, and you bump into somebody else and your networking connects. And suddenly you get this amazing idea to apply to your business. Right? That's the power of being in the mix. And especially if you do a probability stack in your favor, being in the mix around the right kind of people that you absolutely know will be the right kind of people, to me, sounds like a no-brainer. So that's community. Jim, what'd you say about community? Anything else on that?
Only that with peerage, it's a way to add community if you don't already have that. Because typically, right, a lot of people in their life, especially as you get older, your surroundings, or the people that you surround yourself with, gets less and less and less. This is an opportunity to not be a lone wolf running your own business. Maybe you have your staff and everything like that, but are they $1 million producers? Well, no. But imagine if you surrounded yourself for even a few days with people who are in that level. Like, what
Yeah,
would it do to you? Like you said, it will pull you up, bring you up with them. So if you don't have a community, this is a way to instantly get one.
That's a great point, right? I mean, in a weird way, this is a way to develop vetted friendships with people who are up to stuff, because everybody who's part of peerage has been in or is in the getting results conversation. They understand about stillness, they understand about agreements, they understand about the champion path, ABCD activities, a life and business by design. And there's this wonderful thing called a cascade effect, right? And what a cascade effect is, you keep doing the right thing, you keep doing the right thing, you keep doing the right thing, and then suddenly, bam, a massive breakthrough happens. And the peerage is just a very, very fertile ground for that.
Yeah, remember last year, right? We had some of that going on, right? With people who are flying airplanes, with someone who wanted to get flown to a Michigan, football game, and just the different things that were happening. People were seeing the connections with each other and getting some ideas and some breakthroughs from that, just by being in the presence of.
Yeah, no doubt. And the tool that you introduced, being the Phoenix Planner, has changed many a person's life, because it's given them a structure to bring their goals into an existence. And that tool wouldn't have been known about unless you did attend the peerage. Of course, now I'm sharing it, so many of you can be out there and starting to buy it. But there's an interesting thing that happens when you buy something by yourself, without a community, without an accountability, without a shared context on how to use it. It sits on your desk and gathers dust, and you're like, man, I should really be using that.
It's a nice idea.
It's a nice idea. If I had time, I should. It's
important. I don't have enough time for that.
Okay, so the principle is to accelerate your life or to accelerate your business at any level. Look at the community that you're actively participating in. Okay, you want to lose weight, stop hanging out with fatties. Okay, right? Stop hanging out with the fatties. Go find the people who are running marathons or are going to the gym, etc. Okay, so I know that's not nice. We shouldn't call people fat, but you have eyes and you can see. If you want to continue to be in that group, keep hanging out with those people, because consciously is unconsciously, they keep a conversation in existence. Okay, for fit people, it is not normal to eat a bag of Doritos at night. Okay, for unfit people, that's normal. And then if one of your fit,
in order to be at a bar regularly, knocking down drinks on a regular basis.
Well, that depends.
Oh, God. All right. So let's just be clear.
Coors Light.
Here and there is okay, but on a regular basis.
Hey, I've seen the commercials.
Being wasted on a regular basis is not going to raise you.
That is not good for you, right? It's not good for your business either. Okay, so we become the community that we keep. The bigger question is, are your communities by design? Now, I mentioned so that principle number one, community.
And can I just add to that? And we've done the work for you. We've created that structure for you, which you'll get into a little bit, but we've created that community. All you have to do is just come, and you're instantly emerged into this community. Like, you don't even have to do the work. You just come on in, and you'll see how the group pulls you in.
Yes. Yeah, we got to get Dusty to come. Dusty, if you're listening, don't be dumb. Attend the peerage.
Dusty's going to get a complex because you keep calling him dumb. It's all right, Dusty. I don't think you're dumb. I'm just saying.
He's not dumb. I just said
I
don't be
know.
dumb. Don't be dumb. It's easy to be dumb. Okay.
Yep.
Next
So we
principle.
community coach. What's next?
Next, we can either go to structure or affinity. Let's go to structure. Okay? Because affinity is a little bit more complicated. Structure is quite simple. And we talk about this all the time. Structure sets you free. Okay, so to bring something into existence, whatever that something is, let's say $2 million in production, ask yourself, do you have a structure for it? Because as you can see on the Yeti mug, structure sets you free. And as we're coaching clients, what's always fascinating is when they're frustrated with something, it's usually because a structure doesn't exist. And that's the usual reason. Okay, do you have a structure to get referrals? Do you have a structure to onboard clients? Do you have a structure to offboard clients? Do you have a structure to get out into the mix? And if the answer is no, well, then the retort is, well, let's create one, or what's getting in the way. And usually what gets in the way is I don't wanna, right? I don't wanna, or I'm busy, or I'm not sure if it's going to work. So if we rely on community, okay, or if you have a buddy, or there's your weekly bowling meeting, or you're part of a golf club, or you got to account to your coach or your staff, you're increasing the probability of compliance. Now, if you've heard us speak before, which I hope that you have, there are no guarantees in life other than dying and paying taxes. But we can stack probabilities in our favor. Everything is a probability stack. And the more that you stack probabilities in your favor, the greater the outcome is in alignment with what you choose.
So, Coach, what you're saying is community is great and even structure is great, but you put community with structure.
And structure. It's a probability
stack on it, right?
It's a stack. So if any, there are some people who are very disciplined and then they could work out alone and get really hard workouts in. Like Gino's like that, right? Gino's a very disciplined individual and
when it comes to that.
And gets hard when it comes to that.
Okay. Say that for other things.
Good caveat. Okay. When it comes to that, he's a very disciplined individual and he gets very, very hard workouts in by himself. Okay. I too like to work out and I will do hard workouts. But if I'm left to my own devices, I don't necessarily do hard workouts all of the time. So if I'm telling the truth, one of the best things ever you can do is tell the truth, and the truth shall set you free. So if I want to get really hard workouts in, or if I'm committed to getting my goals, I need to have a trainer or I need to go to class. So I'm a big CrossFit fan and I go at 6 a.m. for a very simple reason. I got my buddies at CrossFit. They yell at me and bother me if I don't show up. And I just show up and I don't have to think. I don't have to think how I'm going to train. I just do what I'm told. And by the end of the class, I'm tired. And it's a great victory. I have a structure and I have a community. Because if any of you have ever done CrossFit workouts, if you've ever done them alone, at some point you're thinking, this is stupid. What am I doing this for? But when you're with another group of people and they're all doing the fellow stupid thing, like 100 burpees, the community keeps you going, especially when you want to quit. And that's a probability stack in your favor.
Yeah, that's a huge point too when you think about community, because especially when you have to do hard stuff or you want to do hard stuff or things just don't come naturally, it's not necessarily in your wheelhouse. Having someone to support you and hold you accountable and or just be there. Like, give you an example. Yesterday, up in New England, the temperature was 21 degrees. Our cold plunge was 34 degrees. And my wife and I looked at each other and said, do we want to go in? And she said, let's do it. Right. And without her saying, let's do it and taking the first step to be the first one in, I had to do it next. Right. Like she got me excited about it. So that having that community, someone else who was really into doing the cold plunge, even though it was hard as all hell, without her, I probably would have let myself skip it. Right. Like, so that's the thing, a principle there, right? Is many of the times we will, if left to our own devices, we'll let ourselves off the hook. But when we have someone else there, we're less likely to let ourselves off the hook or them off.
Boom. So let's talk about a little bit of structure in marketing and sales. Now, and so many of you are probably like me. Sometimes you don't want to talk to people. Perhaps you don't even like people at times, but we are all in the people business. Okay.
Fun, right?
Actually, with coaching, you need to talk to people. Now, I obviously I love all my clients, and I always show up for my calls for a very simple reason. All of my calls are scheduled, right? And they are scheduled in advance. And I know exactly what time my coaching calls are. Like, so tomorrow at 8 in the morning, my time, I'll be on the phone with Bob, right? Then from Bob, I will be on the phone with Gary. And then all of that stuff is set out. If I here's the thing, if I called Bob or Gary when I wanted to, all of a sudden things can get a little weird because sometimes I don't want to talk to them. Why? Because I'd rather drink coffee. I'd rather hang out with my wife. I'd rather take the dog for a walk, etc., or go to the gym longer. But since I have a structure for it, I can't waver because I'm not going to disappoint someone else. I am not going to not show up for somebody else. So here's the sales and marketing tip. All of us have to do outbound calls or do outbound appointments or be out in the mix. Now, this will make you so much money if you listen to me. For all of your outbound stuff, have somebody else schedule it. So you just show up and sing. It's one of the most effective ways to get something done is to get you out of the mix because you're crazy and your head goes sideways and you're like, oh, what am I going to talk about? I don't know if I like them. Do they like me? Oh my God, it's a stranger. Oh my God, he makes $7 million. He might say no. Would he really want to come golfing with me? I don't know. Right. So if you take you out of the mix and just simply have someone else or your assistant or hire assistant schedule your outbound communication, it is so much easier because if you're like most people, you don't want to let anybody else down. You'll let yourself down, right? You'll definitely let yourself off the hook or you'll disappoint yourself every day until Sunday. But it's much harder to disappoint someone else. So hence this idea that structure sets you free. And that's the beauty of it. And there's so many layers to this. I mean, Gino and I could talk for probably days on how you can implement structure in so many different facets of your life. But just one little more fun little story that hopefully will get you to resonate with structure. Okay, now there's an interesting thing. And so I always love to give real life examples of structure. Okay, ready? We'll quiz Gino. Gino, when do you go to church?
Sunday.
So you go from Sunday now, and church has been on Sunday for how long?
I would say at least since I was born.
Yeah, probably Roman times, if not whenever Jesus started St. Peter. Like it's a long time. Church is
my time.
Yeah, your time. Church has been on Sunday. Now here's a strange. Now everybody, I want you to get this, and this is a deeper thing. This Sunday thing. It's always on Sunday, same times every Sunday. It begins on time, ends on time. But here's the weirdest thing about church. They keep reading from the same book. Can't they change up the books? Can't they find a different kind of book? They keep reading from the same book. It's 2,000 years. It's the same book. He gets his wonderful question, why? It's a structure. It's the structure that sets you free. Okay, and the more and more that you read the Bible, the more and more the Bible is revealed to you. The same thing about the United States and this thing called the Constitution or Bill of Rights. Can't we update this thing? Can't we get a new one? No, bad idea. It's that structure that sets you free. Okay, so again, if you apply those principles to your business, amazing. It does amazing.
Love it. That's what it's all about right there. But there's one other one that you add into those other two that really kind of seal the deal, right? And that's Affinity.
This fun thing is Affinity. So everybody go look in the mirror and look at the things that you avoid doing. Whatever the shit is, whatever the stuff is that you avoid doing, whether that's brushing your teeth, which I know you brush your teeth, but whether that's doing prospecting calls, going out marketing, annual reviews, doing investment research, whatever that is.
Eating that salad instead of
eating salad, whatever. There's a very simple reason why you don't do what you know you're supposed to do or what you want to do. And the simple reason is because you're not good at it.
Or you don't like it.
It's because you're not good at it.
Because of that.
Yeah. Why don't you ask for referrals consistently? Well, because you're not good at it. Why aren't you having consistent prospects? Because you're not good at it. It's just a really simple concept. Is that what you like to do, you do more of. What you don't like to do, you avoid. So this begets this fascinating question around affinity. Like, how do you develop affinity? Now, what's cool about affinity is you could develop yourself, or you could buy it, or you can borrow it. See, you can develop it yourself, buy or borrow. I kind of like the buying and borrowing idea, but I'll also go into developing it yourself. Okay, so buying or borrowing. Okay, if you want to run consistently, but you're not, but one of your friends, neighbors, or coworkers is an avid marathoner, runner, etc., and they're really fired up about running and they can't shut their mouth about how much they enjoy running, they might be a good person to start hanging out with and ask if you can train with them. Okay, wham. One example, borrowing somebody's affinity.
They pull you into the Yep.
Right. Or you can also buy somebody's affinity. Let's make believe you don't know how to eat properly. Okay, or your nutrition is in shambles. Now, you can borrow somebody's affinity. You can hang out with somebody, once again, who's a really good eater, or you bring it to the next level. You buy a nutrition coach, or you go to a nutritionist to learn, or you go buy a nutrition book, etc. So you can bone up, if you will, on nutrition. What if you hate doing outbound calls? Aha. Maybe you can buy an outbound caller or have staff schedule your calls in advance. And the last one, perhaps you can also develop affinity yourself. So I think golf is a great example. So in my early 30s, I played a lot of golf in New England. Okay. And then I moved to Southern California, San Diego, where it is golf season 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all year long. Interesting thing happened in San Diego. So San Diego, then I moved to Florida, Michigan, etc. Now, between Florida and San Diego, I have played golf 0 times. But I played golf in New England, I don't know, 20, 30 times. Why is that? Well, it's for a very simple reason. I'm not good at golf. But in New England, all of my buddies golfed. I had a community of golfers. In Southern California and Florida, since I don't like golf and I haven't invested in a golf coach and I haven't trained, I haven't practiced, I am not good at golf, I avoid playing golf. So if you do want to get good at something, and if you choose, it's called training, practice, and coaching. Okay, everything is earned, no matter what it is. It's earned. It's through training, practice, and coaching.
Super coach, I like that. Maybe that should be our next podcast. We'll dig into training, practice, and coaching. Let's not give them all the secrets to the test yet, right? Yeah, let's have them come wanting more, coming back to want more, right?
Come back to learn about training, practice, and coaching.
Yeah, let's do that. And then, by the way, on the affinity thing, right? How does that tie into peerage?
How does that tie into peerage? That's a good one. I think the affinity thing is because you can begin to borrow other people's affinity to see what they have created. Because when you're around a person who actually lives a life by design, it creates all new possibilities for you. Now, imagine you're in a room with 15, 20, 25, 30 other people who are actively designing their lives. They are choosing their path and they are choosing what is important to them. Not what's important to the corporation or the overlord or the mothership, but what's important to them. And then ironically, the more that individual is in alignment, the further and faster they go. Like one of my clients, Gino, this dude's next level of practicing like the way of business. And I'm gonna paraphrase the conversation, but it went something like this. He's like, "Yeah, Ken, they sort of changed the comp plan, and then they changed the qualifications to go on trips and what we're ranked now, and I don't care. It's irrelevant to me. It's not my design. It is irrelevant. He just since he's been doing this for the last year, he's just breached $2 million in production, and he's like, I'm already retired, but I still work. I am in alignment with my design and no one else's. And so that is a great example of that. The key to success is not about being focused. It's about not being distracted. Because if you're not distracted, if you don't give a hoot about where you rank, If you qualify for the trip, if you get the new TV, or if you get the set of steak knives, if you are beyond all that stuff and you're not distracted by it, then the only thing you can do is focus. And if you truly get that what you do is noble and right, that you are on the path of righteousness, that meaning that you are serving, you are making the world or the kingdom a better place by you conducting your business, you reach an entirely another level. Because unfortunately, many people are simply distracted by so much noise out there. Like, man, I can't believe he got a new Mercedes and I didn't. Noise. It's not the signal. Big difference between the signal and the noise.
No doubt.
So to sum things up, community, affinity, and structure. Each one of those by themselves are a probability stack in your favor. But if you stack all three, if you have a community, you have affinity for what you're doing, and you have a structure for what you're doing, you're then accelerating it to the next level. So let's play a little bit with this church concept. So you go to church on Sundays, there's a structure from there. Reading from the same book, it's a structure. If you develop a church family, oh my God, now you have a community. Okay, so you have a community around you. And so then in the community, there's a conversation that is kept. Okay, how to be good Christians, how to be a good person, which is accelerating you. You can then go even deeper. You're going into Bible study. You're getting a little bit more training. You're doing Bible study on your own practice. You're doing retreats. Once again, these are all probability stacks in your favor, so you can have a deeper understanding of your religion or your faith.
And anything that branches off that, because then you're around people that you might find have an affinity for something you would like to get better at, and maybe give it a try, and you got that there. That's Community is great for that, right? Like you have those people that can help move you in the direction you want to go.
Perfect. And then we have the sidebar too. This is, I don't mean to be funny, but it's funny. Then it's a sidebar of when you're around people or proximity, you're accelerating likability and trust. And that the more that you're around people that you like and trust and they like and trust you, you're going to hear more and more opportunities to be of service to them because what you do is noble and right. So the more people that you serve, the more people that you serve. It is very difficult to suppress good work. It is very difficult to suppress mastery. So if you're good at what you do and you're noble at what you do, your reputation spreads because of who you're being and who you are. And so once again, these probability stacks of community, affinity, and structure are all probability stacks in your favor to continue to enhance your business, grow your business, and be a positive effect not only on your community, other people, and ultimately the country, hence why we're keeping America safe for capitalism.
Absolutely. Awesome. Super Coach, good stuff. Community, structure, and affinity. Any last thoughts before we close out?
If these things are missing, it's just things are harder. And that's all it is. It's not impossible. It's just harder. And when things get hard or harder, it's easy to get distracted by the easy. And it's once again, the powerful things about community and structure, it pulls you along when you may not necessarily want to. Like if you have a training buddy and you're training at 6 a.m. and you want to sleep in, but you know that guy's going to be at your front door or he's waiting out in the snow for you to pick him up to take him to the gym, you just did a probability stack in your favor that you are actually going to show up at the gym.
Had that happen before, for sure. I've been on both ends. I've been the guy that shows up, and I've been the guy that needed the person to show up. So.
It works both ways, right? So that's
what it is.
One of the benefits of community by design. And that's what the Peerage offers. It's community by design. So if you are a current or past client, we should have emailed you. If you did not get the invitation, please reach out to your coach. We do want you to attend. And once again, even if you're a client from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, your presence is welcome. It'd be great for you to jump back into the conversation because you will be inspired at an entirely different level. And no, you don't have to take on a coach again. But if you swim in the pond, you will be inspired, or we will help you remember what needs to be remembered from your past journey with us.
Yeah. And just to reiterate, for Peerage, it's for current as well as past clients. And if you did not receive an email from us, you should reach out to us proactively. Come to the site, hit the contact page, or I'm sure you have one of our contact numbers. Give us a call. We'd love to have you there. Coach, any sneak peeks into what some of the things we might be doing for Peerage this time around?
It's going to be a bigger distinction in discernment. It's about efficiencies for staff, effectiveness is for you. So how can you turn up the effectiveness? Just like if we've spoken before, right? It's that singularity concept. What is the one thing that provides the majority of the value? Then it becomes, what is that one thing in all things that provides the majority of the value? And then I talked about a little bit earlier on this call about compounding. So just imagine if you focus on the things that provide the majority of the value each day, every day, without fail, interesting things shall arise. Because when you're in alignment, you go further, faster, less fuel.
Nice. Just so again, Peerage, February 27th and 28th of 2025. We hope to see you there. To all our other listeners, if you enjoyed our podcast today and got value from it, please be sure to share and follow our podcast. Hit the like button and or give us a rating. We can be found on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Getting Results Inc., and YouTube. Tune in next week for our next episode. Be great.